This is one of the most flexible choir collections I've ever used. You've got 4 different sections: soprano, alto, tenor and bass, and up to 4 unique voices per section. But through doubling, you can go all the way up to 16 members per section, giving yourself a whopping 48-member choir, or go to any number in between, down to a solo singer, and then shuffle between those 4 unique voices to get per section to get the sound that you want. It'll also sing whatever lyrics you type into the MIDI in 6 different languages. You'll have to check the website for those languages, and hopefully they'll add more over time. Now, it does utilize AI from real voice recordings. They have been ethically sourced and the singers have been compensated. They are an ethical and legitimate company. I can vouch for that. Now, there are 3 collections we're going to be going through today. Collection 1 is more gospel worship, backing for pop, R&B, rock and electronic music. Collection 2 is classical, operatic, cinematic. Collection 3, which is the one we're going to start with on the piece that I've composed, is more folk, hymnal and ceremonial styles. Now, you'll probably notice price tags next to each. Each collection is $149. You can buy the entire collection for $299, but you will need the Synthesizer V Studio 2 Pro software. That is a one-time purchase of $99. I like the fact that it's a one-time purchase, but you will need this on top of this. Don't buy this unless you have this. But it is worth noting there is a free trial, 14-day free trial of Synthesizer V Studio 2 Pro with a curated selection of voices, so you can try it out for yourself before you splash out all that cash. But let's jump into Synthesizer V Studio 2. Essentially, it's a mini digital audio workspace. You've got your tracks, you input your MIDI, you input your lyrics, and then you work on the finer details. And I feel you need the complexity of something like a digital audio workspace, its own dedicated one, to really curate the voice, because it's such a complicated thing. Now, you will be glad to know that it does work as a bridge within your digital audio workspace of choice. If we go into virtual instruments, you'll see it's right here, and we can load that up so you can work within your digital audio workspace of choice and have this alongside, so you can stack up whatever else you want and then create your vocals within here. At the same time, you can just render it out when you've finished. There's a little render button here, and you can render out each individual section. You can have it in mono. You could pick the bit depth as well, and you can bypass the effects that you've applied, so you can then do that within your digital audio workspace as well. But I bet you're curious as to how this sounds. So I've got my 4 different sections. I've picked just collection 3 for this one. I've written the lyrics myself. I'm not a lyricist, so apologies, but just out of the box, well, I say out of the box, I've panned it ever so slightly there as well. This is how it sounds.
Oh, the sun is rising up through the sky, the light is breaking through dawn, chasing the night away.
Now, to me, that's just crazy how realistic it is, in all honesty, and it's very easy to put together. Now, with each section, I've only got 4 singers. This is where you adjust it. So if we wanted to, we could change all these to solo. You'll also notice live rendering as well. So as I'm making these changes, I've got no lag. Everything is changing there. And as I was composing, things were live rendering. Now, I did notice when I went to 16 members per section, there was a bit of latency and lag, but obviously that's because that's 16 members it's got to render everything for. So depending on your computer and internet connection, it may vary. But I found with 1 to 8, I've had no issues with live rendering and live composing. Now, this is it all played solo.
Oh, the sun is rising up through the sky, golden light is breaking through dawn, chasing the night away.
Which again, that's so cool. The fact that we just went from 4 members per section to 1, and it still has such a realistic sound, and you saw how quickly that rendered. Now let's solo the soprano, because you've got 4 unique voices. So this is currently the voice we have.
Oh, the sun is rising
which if you actually zoom in, you can also see and hear the vibrato on these notes here. Now, if we wanted to adjust that and we didn't like that vibrato, we can go over here and go for a more rigid sound. So we've clicked on that note. We're going to move this to rigid. And you'll see that as it renders, let's go on to an extreme there. That now, that's going to be quite a rigid sound. So we on the other side, we can go for a more vibrato-y sound and go the absolute opposite direction. Just the level of refinement is absolutely crazy. Of course, we could change the language if you want. You can see the languages there. English, Mandarin, Japanese, Spanish, Cantonese, and Korean are the current languages of choice, but I'm sure they'll add more in future. Now, in terms of a different sound, let's press this button here. We can shuffle the members. So a quick reminder. That's the sound we got there. Shuffle that up a bit. And now we've got a different one. You can see the live rendering there. Hit play. Slightly different sound. Shuffle it again. Again, you've got 4 unique voices per section. Shuffle that again. Again, you can see how quickly it does render. Super cool. Now, in terms of typing out the lyrics, simply double click in here and start your typing. Let's completely change these lyrics and do something off the top of my head. Simply pressing space moves you to the next one. So we're going to go, the night is young and bright. Why not? And you can already see the live rendering there. It's already rendered it all. Obviously, we're on solo, so it's going to be a little bit quicker. But now if we play that, probably not the best example of lyrics, but nevertheless, let's undo all of that so we can go back to my original lyrics there. We're going to move over to the alto now to show you some adjustments that you can make. For example, here, up is 1 syllable, but I wanted it over multiple notes. If we play from here. Now, how did I achieve that? Well, there's a tool right here. Pitch control point mode, pitch control curve mode. You've got note creation mode, and then of course you've got note editing mode, but pitch control curve mode. I went in here and actually drawed that out. You can see a bit of vibrato in there as well because I wanted it over multiple notes. But say I did have a word with multiple syllables and I wanted it over 2, rising, that's 2. So instead of up, let's put a plus symbol. Go out of that, it will now split rising over these 2 notes. And then I'm going to adjust the pitch ever so slightly. We'll keep it within here, something like that. Right, let's see how that ends up.
Is rising through the sky, golden light.
Well, there you go, there's an example. You probably want to fine tune that as well. But let's go back off of that, back to my original, and show you an example of a 16-person choir, still in choir collection 2. We go here, turn our singers all the way up to 16. You'll also notice you can adjust the spacing as well. You can have them tightly packed together or further spread out. I kind of like putting it in the middle, but you can also see I have panned mine ever so slightly. You've got volume and panning buttons there, and you've probably already noticed as well with me trying to do 16 members, the render time is already increasing, which evidently, you know, when you're doing that much, there's no surprise there. Again, just supporting my argument of how flexible this is, the fact you can go from that solo sound to this whopping 48-member choir. Such a cool sound, especially with more people. The realism just adds to it, and layer the rest of the orchestra, the rest of the ensemble together. and it just blows me away at how cool this is. And again, you can go into the nitty-gritty of the settings, you can see everything on the screen, and just the ease of use in selecting the parts, selecting the singers. You can make some sections brighter, more rounded, smooth. You've got a ton of parameters to mess with and really go into the nitty-gritty to fine-tune these voices to how you like them. Now let's move over, let's go back to 4 members actually, and we're going to look at collection 1 and collection 2 just so you can hear how those collections differ. We're going to use the same song to keep it consistent.
Oh, the sun is rising up through the sky, the light is breaking through dawn, chasing the night away.
More operatic I feel this version is with the composition that I have, and now I'll skip and move everything over to 1.
Oh, the sun is rising up through the sky, the light is breaking through dawn, chasing the night away.
More poppy, almost gospel-y as well. Another cool feature I actually really want to show you and I really like, we're going to solo the sopranos for this. We go over to the effects section over here. You've got this really cool room sound, which if we just hit play on here and this is turned on, you can move the section around within the room, which is really cool. So you can position each section in a certain place. And again, fine-tuning your choir. You can see on the screen all the settings, and let me know in the comments if you want another video of me going into more depth or maybe composing something live with this software. But for now, there is one more thing I want to show you before we finish, and you might have noticed it, the keen-eyed of you, it says rap down here, and we've got this little bit going on over here. Now I'm not a lyricist and I'm certainly not a rapper, but there's a rap mode in this, and on each collection as well. You simply, if we actually zoom in on this, and again, I made this up off the top of my head. If we highlight everything, you'll notice it does look slightly different, and I'm actually in the wrong mode. So we'll go back to the edit mode there. Highlight everything there, go over to this button here, you'll see there's sing and there's rap. Of course, you pick the key here as well. But if we hit play,
Sun of light spills over the town, gold light on the roof, falls the fading shadows as they dance away.
There's a rap mode. Now, I've had it in unison. I've got 2 singers there. I can go back down to solo as well. And I'm using a bass singer. But there is a rap mode as well. If you compose that style of music, might be worth you messing around. But there you have it. It's crazy what technology can do now. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments and if it's something you're going to purchase. But thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.